God is good all the time.
All right, guys, welcome back to Undisputed Interviews. Today's guest, we have UFC welterweight Gabe Green. How are you today?
Man, I'm good. Thank you for reaching out and trying to get me on the show.
Yes, sir. This has been it's been a little bit. We've been trying to work it out. Just dates haven't really been matching up. How's it being a new father?
It's the best thing I've ever done, man. It's challenging in this like the sleep aspect, but I mean, I've been pretty blessed with my baby. She's not like a super crier or anything like that. She
Yeah,
makes some like really soft, like S, like and I'm like, all right, like she doesn't just scream bloody murder, and then I just change her burper or feed her, and then she's chilling again. So yeah,
yeah.
it's awesome.
Are you taking time off the gym to just get the hang of new parenting, or are you still when you can you'll go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not training like I usually do for sure.
Yeah,
I especially it's our first kid. I don't want to leave my wife high and dry and be like, you got it,
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I don't make it to the gym as much as I want, but I try to get in here and there.
Yeah, so I mean, you haven't fought since May 2023. I think the last time you fought was the last time I competed. So we both are on an equal layoff. Do you have like are you looking to get back in anytime soon or
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to get a couple fights in 2025 for sure. So
yeah.
I mean, the sooner the better, but yeah, I just got to make sure that everything's good taken care of at home and stuff first. So
Yeah.
it is what it is, but I'm definitely itching to get back in there.
Is part of the reason you want to get back in there a couple times in 2025 because of the way it happened, the way you weren't really you just got caught early and that was that, or is that something that's just like I want to do it again to show that that was just a mistake on my end and I'm way better than that?
Um, I mean, partially, but I mean, I'm just trying to fight because I love to fight. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's some like level of I want to show everybody that there's more to me to that than that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really care a giant amount of like what people think think of me and where they hold me at. People are gonna have thoughts, and people are gonna like you, people are not gonna like you, and if you're
Yeah.
just worried about what everybody thinks about you, you're just adding a bunch to your plate for no reason. People are gonna have their opinions regardless in everything that you do. So the more you can let go of that and not really care about what they're thinking, the better.
Yeah, so I mean, I know for some fighters when that happens to them, they get caught early, they take it to heart and it causes depression, like and that type of stuff. Did you go through any of that, or were you just like on to the next? It happened, it's over with, just improve from here.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like depression or anything, but I was like it's a it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth, especially if you're have a long camp and then you get caught super early like that. And then I was having success in the fight. I know like it was short lived, but
Hmm.
like I was having success in the beginning until I got caught. Um, Even kind of like caught his attention and like wobbled him a little bit. And I think that's kind of like what got me like really like my engine going. And I was like, oh, I'm about to put it on this guy. And then
Yeah,
I went rock 'em sock 'em with a guy who's like way bigger than me, and it didn't end well for me. But
yeah,
like after something like that happens, like for sure you're like, dang, I need to get back in there. Cause really the only thing that makes that taste of defeat, leave your mouth is getting a win. It's the only thing where
yeah,
you're like, all right, yeah, I feel better. But yeah, especially now, it's been like so long and I was trying to get back in there and then I got hurt and then it's been so long that, it's still on my mind, but time heals all wounds and stuff. It's old.
yeah.
I still like want to show everyone what I'm capable of, but I'm not necessarily thinking about, that fight anymore.
What was the injury
I popped my knee. It was like, cause I was scheduled to fight this year and,
against?
the, against, what's his name? Forgot his name. He ended up fighting, I know his nickname is Goku. Yontop. That's who I was supposed to fight against.
Oh, James Yontop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
so I was
see.
scheduled to fight him, and then like the week before, I hurt my knee, and then had to like just take time off. I couldn't really do anything for a while, and
Yeah,
like I mentioned it in a post that I did earlier. I'm wearing my Yahweh shirt and stuff like that. I'm extremely Christian. I'm a follower of Jesus, and when I was backstage for the battle fight, I listen to gospel and stuff, right? And the song that was going on before I walked out was a song about God's timing and stuff like that. And in my head, I was like, okay, Jesus, I hear you loud and clear. It's my time right now. You're giving me the
yeah,
green light. I'm about to go out there and do my thing. So I went out there pumped. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this guy. Um, and then I lost, and I was like, oh well, I guess it's not my time yet. I guess God was just
yeah,
letting me know that it's coming. It's not necessarily right now, but it's coming. And I'm getting ready for my next fight, and I'm like, oh man, it's a dream matchup. I love this matchup. It's gonna be fun when I go out there. And then the week before, just boom, knee pops, and I'm like laying on the mat, and then I just put my head back on the mat, lay back down, and I'm just like, well, I guess it's still not my time yet. And
yeah,
it's um I've just been kind of waiting for when it is my time. The Bible says that there's seasons for everything. There's ups and there's downs you're gonna go across. There's times for war. There's times for peace. And it's not one of my times to go out there. It hasn't been one of my times to go out there and fight as of late. But
yeah.
I know it'll come around again, and when it does,
Do
it's
you,
gonna be the perfect timing.
yeah, do you have a time frame that you would like to get it back in there, like March or whenever?
Just not necessarily. I would like at least an 8 week camp.
Yeah,
So whenever I can get back my schedule kind of fixed so that I can be back inside the room like I should be, like I to have a good camp for 8 solid weeks, then
yeah.
I mean that's it. I just need to, as soon as I get I'm good to go and everything's kind of back to normal with my training, I just 8 weeks from then, that's all I need.
So would you want the fight with Long Top rescheduled, or is there like someone like maybe a Jake Matthews or someone like that that you would want to throw down with?
Um, well, so Yon Top's a 55er. I'm going down to 55.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, because I be walking around at like 72, 73.
Oh, wow. Oh,
So when I
okay.
fight at welterweight,
Yeah.
everyone's like huge.
Yeah, they
I
walk
mean,
around like
you
205,
can see it.
190.
Yeah, you can. I mean, Joe Rogan's like said it a couple times, like, "Oh, Gabe's huge. He's a tank." And it's like, but realistically, the other guy across from me is like, 20, 30 pounds
Way.
heavier than me. Because I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm going up from I'm for the weigh-ins, I'll cut maybe like a pound, maybe two. Sometimes I haven't cut anything. I just wake up and weigh in. And that's with me eating meals with my team all week, like extra meals and stuff. Like we're all going to Sizzler together during fight week. And don't get me wrong, it's really fun because the weight cut
yeah.
sucks. And if I don't got a weight cut, then it's amazing. Now we're just hanging out with our friends and stuff. Um, so yeah, I mean, I weigh in at 170, and then the next day I'm like 174, 175 maybe, and everyone else is going from like 170 to like 190 at least. So like
Yeah.
everyone is way bigger than me at 170. And
When you Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say when you were fighting Ian Gary, that was like the first time I watched you fight. I was like, this dude fights at 70. I was like, I was like, he looks like a 45 or 55er.
Yeah,
I
especially with
was
my
like,
like
wow.
my height. I'm only 5'10. It's really I
Yeah,
just be and most of my fights outside the UFC were at 155. I did some catch weights at like 160, 165. I think I fought legitimately like one time at 170. But when the UFC gave me that first call, it was Tuesday morning at like 4 a.m. and they said that if you're here by 12 p.m. on that Tuesday, and can make 170 on Friday, we'll let you fight. We'll sign you and give you a contract. And I was like, oh, that's easy because I'm walking around at that weight anyway, so it was
yeah,
super chill, and I just go ahead and do it. And then I did well against D-Rod, and I was telling my coach, I was like, man, especially D-Rod was like knocking people out and stuff. And he hit me with some good shots, but like it didn't get me. And I was like, I think I can be a welterweight coach. And my coach was like, I mean, we'll play with the idea, but realistically, Gabe, you're a 55er. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah. We'll circle back to 55 later. And then I beat Roe, and Roe's like one of the biggest welterweights, you
yeah,
know?
that's so rough.
Yeah. So at that point, I was looking at my coach and I was like, you see, I'm a welterweight, man. I'm a welterweight. But
Yeah,
as much as
yeah,
as much as I'd like to claim that I am, realistically, I'm just, I'm not that big. I'm good enough to compete with them and make them fights competitive. I'm good enough to beat some of them. But I'm doing myself a disservice by competing at a weight class where everyone's so much bigger than me.
yeah. I mean, for lightweight, have you seen that Cerrone is back in the testing pool?
Yeah, I saw that. I jokingly sent it to my like group, my team group chat. I was like, "Hey, who wants to see me fight Cerrone?" And everyone
That's
started
what I
laughing.
was gonna say. That would be cool.
It would be super cool. He was growing up and watching him fight was always a fun experience. I'm a
Yeah.
giant fan of Cerrone. And I mean, if something like that happens, I know he said he wanted two more fights. And I don't know if I have the kind of pull for the UFC, because I mean they'd probably want him to fight more someone with a little bit more uh
Star.
yeah, star power than myself at the
Like,
moment. So I mean, but if he wants two more, I might not get him for the first one. Maybe after, if I'm able to get in there and make a little bit of noise, do something spectacular, I can offer myself for the second one.
do you feel that he should be coming back because he's been on TRT? He's been riding bulls and not really been training. Like and
Yeah, I mean,
lightweight's
I mean
pretty
to
stacked.
to each their own, I'm who am I to tell someone that they can't go fight, like if
Yeah,
if he really wants those, it's at the end of the day, it's his legacy, it's whatever he wants. And if he wants the 50 is a way sounding like way more solid number than 48. So if he really wants his 50 and he feels like he can compete with the guy still, then I mean that's his own battles that he's gonna have to deal with in his head and everything leading up
yeah,
to it. But I mean, like, if you feel like you can do it, I'm not gonna be like, nah, don't do it. If he still
yeah,
feels, I mean, as long as he's being honest with himself, if he's in the training room and he can't, hang with the young bucks, then an extra two isn't really in the long run gonna mean much when you're really putting yourself at risk like that. But if he really feels like he got a shot at it, then go for it.
yeah. I mean, because especially with how he's definitely way older, and his last fight was Jim Miller, and that didn't go too good. Do you feel that the UFC might maybe use him as a stepping stone for people like Esteban Rivovic and Drew Dober, the people that still have a good amount of time left in the sport?
Yeah, I mean that might end up happening a lot of the time. That's kind of the route that the UFC they take the older guy and they kind of feed him to the
Young
young
guy.
guns. And it's kind of what happens. Like, as much as we'd like to see, like when Luque was supposed to fight
Diaz.
Diaz, yeah, when it should have been really like Diaz, Ferguson or something like that. But
Yeah,
they just be like, let's make some carnage kind of happen, and they kind of just like do a passing of the torch thing versus just letting the old guys ride out into the sunset together. So I
yeah.
mean,
I mean,
I probably it's probably what's going to happen. The UFC is going to give them to a younger guy instead of like an older guy that from around the same era who's still fighting.
thank God Nick Diaz did not fight Luque because, dude, that would have been so hard to watch, man.
Yeah, I mean, and I think I mean, UFC is going to do what the UFC is going to do, but a lot of people would have loved to see yeah, like that Ferguson Diaz fight.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Islam Makhachev and Armin Sarukian title fight for the UFC 311? Like, who do you have winning?
Um, it's gonna be interesting. I'm a lean towards Islam.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm just gonna be watching. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm picking Armin because Islam did Dustin Poirier dirty, and that's my favorite fighter. So
Dustin's a
now he's got to get it back. Armin's got to get it back for us.
Dustin's a real cool person too. So yeah, I mean, I feel you on that.
Yeah, I really like Dustin. But what has been your experience like since like not focusing on fighting and more on life? Like, what have you learned about yourself? What have you learned about the people around you?
Um, Man, I've learned a lot, man. There's a whole lot more to life than just fighting, you know, like
Yeah,
a lot of stuff goes on. Like I posted about that on my Instagram too. I was just thinking that like I didn't fight at all this year, and I love fighting like more than most things in life, right? Like fighting is such a pivotal, like just great point of my life that and I didn't have one fight this year, and it was still like my most favorite year of life, you know, this
yeah,
that I've ever lived, you know, and I mean,
yeah,
it had nothing to do with fighting, and that was just like a big eye-opening experience for me. And I was like, man, you know what? As much and like I said, like I know I love fighting. It means so much to me, but out of all the years in life, this last one with no fighting in it whatsoever, it is my favorite. So it's just
yeah,
like, and you know, like we have like this time frame and as fighters where you can compete at the highest level and you chase your dreams and stuff like that, and that's very important. But realistically, you know, after 36, 37, you know, the idea of fighting at the top kind of starts going away. Like I mean, some guys get away with it into their like 40, maybe 41, 42, but that's like, and it's usually at the higher weight classes, you know, because
heavyweight,
guys are a
light
little
heavyweight.
slower. um But I mean, even if you do the cutoff at 40, you know, there's still a whole lot of life to live after 40, you know. And
Yeah,
so and I think a lot of fighters kind of get lost in the sauce after they retire, and they're like, what am I gonna do with myself? You know, like all I've been expect, you know, when all you're doing is training all day and doing this and that, and it's really your life. It's what is life after fighting? And they go into some kind of depression and stuff. But I'm not saying that I can't wait till like fighting to be over, but I don't know if I'm gonna get that kind of depression that the other guys get. You know, I it was a
yeah.
big eye-opening experience, and I'm like, you know, there's a whole lot of love in life to happen. You know, once I'm done with fighting.
Do you feel that's why people like Cerrone are returning because they were so into fighting while they were that they can't really handle life without fighting, that they just want to feel it again?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on in Cerrone's head. That could be part of it. He could just have a little bit of OCD, and that 48 might be killing him. And he's like, nah, I need 50, you know, like it could just be
Yeah.
something as small as that. Cause I know like me too, like, you know, like when if I'm changing the volume on the TV, like it has to be like a solid number for me. Like it has to end in a 5 or a 0. If it's at 48, I
Oh,
just
that's the
feel
same
kind
thing
of,
with me. I always put it at 40.
yeah, like I feel gross. So like I need it to be like whole. So
Yeah.
like I'll add it the extra too. Seeing like the 48 just bugs me. So I mean maybe it's something like that where he just is like, it's just maybe he just got OCD. Maybe he is a little depressed. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I can't speak for what's going on in his head. Could be a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah, but moving back from when I saw on your Instagram today that you said something about Ian Gary, like 5 rounds or something. You would want to fight Ian Gary 5 rounds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Someone posted my post, which I don't know, man. That like blew up out of nowhere. It had like last time I checked like 1 point some million things and views, and I was
yeah,
like, dang. Out of all the posts that blow up, it's the one about me being fat as a kid and people like relating to it. So it's funny. But yeah, someone like repost or tagged me in it as on their story, and so I reposted it, and it said that he said that I gave a better fight against Gary than Shafkat. Like it was more exciting, and I mean, I am biased, but I think I gave a more exciting fight
yeah,
than he did too. You know, like and it wasn't it. If you watch it again, it wasn't one sided. Like I think he edged out the round win that he won. Or round one he edged out slightly. I think I personally won round two. They gave it to him though, and then round three I think if I didn't have the end of the fight happening going into round 3, that I wouldn't have had to fight round 3 so drastically, and it would have been even more competitive. Like I felt like in retrospect when I was in there, I was like, all right, round 1 was close, but I'm gonna give it to Gary. I was like, round 2, I think I won, but I'm also gonna give it to Gary because I think the judges aren't gonna really give me anything. So going
Yeah,
into round 3, I was like, I gotta finish him because I'm down 2 rounds, you know. And sure enough, you know, that's how the judges seen it. But I would have scored it differently. But you know, what I mean, just to sum it up, like, yeah, I think if I fought Gary in 5 rounds, it would have be a way more entertaining fight than what Shavkat did to Gary in that 5
yeah.
round.
I feel like when you have an undefeated prospect like Ian Gary was when he fought you, the judges lean towards the undefeated prospect just because they're undefeated. It's like, oh, they have hype, and this guy has taken a loss, or he's coming off whatever. We're gonna give this. It was a close round, but we're gonna give it to the undefeated guy to make it look better.
Yeah, and I kind of like it's every fight that I've ever had, for better or for worse, it's I've never thought about winning a round. I've never thought about winning a fight. I go in there and I'm like, I'm gonna go fight and I'm gonna go knock this guy out. And it's in the long run of things, and your as what your career looks like, it's great for when what people like are for people to be entertained when they're watching it. Like,
Yeah,
I man, I love this guy. He goes out there and he just fights. But as far as career longevity goes, if I'm not thinking about like winning rounds or winning fights, it's not the absolute smartest thing to do, you know. And that's like when I was
hmm
going in there with Gary, I was just like, I'm not gonna win round 1, round 2, and like take off round 3 or whatever. I'm just like, I'm
yeah,
gonna go out there and I'm gonna land this shot and he's gonna go down. And like that's even fighting like that, fighting not to win per se, fighting just to get him and land one shot. I did pretty good against him.
yeah. I feel like you definitely gave Ian probably the toughest fight. You and Shavkat and MVP are like the only three that I feel like actually gave something to Ian Gary.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
But I got two more questions for you. One, like I know some fighters have like the full violence um collaboration where they make shirts and stuff. Do you have one of those?
Um not I'm not a full violence collaboration. I've been thinking I should drop some merch or something at some time because I used to do shirts and beanies and a bunch of other stuff before I got to the UFC, but since I've been here, I haven't been like doing anything. And people are always asking me like, "Hey man, you gonna drop some merch?" And I'm like, "Yeah, one of these days." It's just, yeah, you know, I'll just be busy training. I've just been throwing my
Yeah,
life in the gym, so it's a bunch of other stuff outside that, you know, I really should work on. It would probably help my notoriety and stuff like that and get my name out there a little bit more. But I'm just like, I just gotta go out there and beat someone up. So I'm just gonna train as hard as I can. I've just really
yeah,
been
yeah.
focused on that. But as a person in like the public eye and stuff like that, I definitely should work on stuff like that.
Yeah, if and when you do decide, I think you should. But when you do, I have a person that makes really good custom shirts that could probably help you out with it. I could send you it on Instagram. They're really good.
Yeah, shoot me the links and stuff and check it out.
All right. My final question for you is what like how you were saying you listen to gospel music when you're backstage before the fights. Does that help you really like what do you do to help does that help you calm and channel the nerves and the anxieties before and how are you able to use those nerves to your advantage in the fight itself?
Yeah, I've never really had a bunch of nerves. I think that there's this with a bunch of fighters, they have different ways of going about stuff, right? Like, and a lot of people fight in boxing, you know, MMA, whatever, at any level, amateur to pro in different organizations.
Yeah,
Some people fight because they feel like it's their only way to get out of a situation. Some people fight because they love being they're athletes and they love being competitive. Um, and or like some guys have wrestled their whole life and they're like, now what am I going to do, you know? So like people have different reasons for getting into fighting, and it's rare that someone likes to fight because they actually like to fight. And so because of that, some people are like nervous about this or that. I've never really had a nervous feeling going into a fight. There's like some kind of I wouldn't say it's like apprehension and stuff like that,
Hmm.
but like not nervous. It's like excitement to see
Yeah,
like what's this guy gonna bring, you know? Like I have this kind of really weird excitement for the other guy, like because I'm really stoked to kind of pit what I have and everything I've worked for, test my skills against someone else who's bringing everything they got to the table. So I've
yeah,
kind of got this like super eager excitement thing going on instead of nerves. I almost gotta pull my excitement back and kind of recenter myself. And I think that the gospel and everything like that and being closer to God has helped me kind of just like recenter and stuff. Especially now, as of now, because like my journey with him has grown even more and more and more. Um but yeah, my coach tells me I'm he's because I've been backstage and I see guys pacing and I see other guys throwing up, and my coach has been training professionals for a bunch of years, and he was like, out of all the guys, you're one of the few that just aren't really nervous. I like take naps backstage, and then I'm like, just wake me up when it's time to go, because I'm
yeah.
it's not the nerves, man. I'm just excited to go slang them and have them throw back at me. So yeah, it's I can't really speak on how having the nerves are. I try to like if not the UFC. I don't have a teammate that's in the UFC, but when I'm cornering someone outside the UFC, or back when I was not signed with the UFC and me and my homies were on the same card, I'd be more like kind of the psyching them up, because I don't really need a lot of help with that part.
Yeah, like I have a bunch of teammates that are amateurs. Like this girl named Kanasia, she's number one female boxer in the U.S. for amateurs. So like when I fight, I'm not nervous, but when she fights, I'm really nervous. Like I'm shaking a little bit. I'm like, you gonna do this, you gonna do this. But so I get
Yeah.
what you mean. I'm not like the nervous type. Like I'll just sit there, get my hands wrapped, and then I'll do whatever I do. But like for my teammates, I'm like real nervous about them.
Oh yeah. When my teammates are fighting someone, or if I'm cornering someone and I'm like one of their coaches, I get way more nervous when they're going out
Yeah,
than when I go out. It's because, you know, like you're in charge of yourself when you know how prepared yourself is, you know how much you love it and stuff like that. So when you're going out there, it's not a big thing. But
yeah,
you have like absolutely no control when someone else is going. So you're just and then you've seen how hard they've trained in the gym, and you know how bad they want it, and there's all this other stuff too, and then so you really want them to win. You just have like you can't do anything about it, so you're just hoping that they can go out there and show like the actual skills that you know that they have, you know. So yeah, uh
yeah.
yeah, I will get nervous when it's somebody else, because I'm just like, yeah, completely everything's completely out of my hands at that point. I'm just like go out there and do your thing, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But um, do you have a YouTube? You-
uh I do. It's for everything, just gifted Gabe Green on YouTube, Instagram, um, Tik TikTok, even though I guess that's getting banned, and Twitter. I'm not super or X. I'm not super active on that, but I
Yeah.
should definitely get back on that one too. Yeah, but just gifted Gabe Green on everything.
All right, guys. Make sure you go give Gabe Green a follow. Thank you, sir, for joining the Undisputed Interviews, and appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course, man. God bless. Thank you for having me.
God bless, man. Appreciate you.
God is good all the time. Let his